Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now. From the threat of rain to the threat of Sanju Samson, South Africa survived it all and held on to a win in the first ODI, as Ian Smith would say, by the barest of margins. The first ODI between India and South Africa in Lucknow had all the makings of a thriller. Let's recap it all in our match story. Rain did seem like playing spoilsport, at least in the initial part of the day, because they were so heavy that it seemed like we were heading towards a washout. But once they relented, groundsmen were quick at their work and got the ground ready as soon as possible. Not without losing overs though. 10 overs per side were lost. This was now a 40 overs per side ODI game. Shikhar Dhawan won the toss and opted to field first on a track that did seem like it would help the bowlers, at least initially. India giving two debut caps, Ruturaj Gaikwad and Ravi Bishnoi, both making their ODI debuts. As for South Africa, they also brought in Janneman Malan, Klaasen and Tabraiz Shamsi into their playing 11. But with the ball, Avesh Khan and Mohammad Siraj initially were just brilliant. They were beating the edges of the bat on either sides and making life really tough for Janneman Malan and Quinton de Kock. And yet, the South African openers kept batting, put on a very solid 49-run opening stand before Shardul Thakur got Janneman Malan out. He could have gotten Malan out earlier as well, if not for a dropped catch by Shubman Gill. Then he got Pavuma in the very next over that he bowled, which meant two quick strikes for India, and they seemed to be right back in the game. Aiden Markram walked in and walked out real soon. Kuldeep Yadav got him in that over, kept varying his pace, kept varying his lengths. Markram was never comfortable out there and could not last long. Ravi Bishnoi later got Quinton de Kock as his maiden ODI wicket, but those were the only 4 wickets to fall, as David Miller and Heinrich Klaasen combined their forces to take South Africa to a very formidable 249, both of them adding 139 for their partnership, 54 runs in the last 5 overs. India's death overs woes, regardless of the format, still continuing. 250 was not a very tough total, but it was very competitive on a track that was good to bat on, but was also turning big and had a lot of bounce for the spinners. And we would see that straight away from the South African bowlers. Gill Dhawan could not get going. Ruturaj Gaikwad was out there on his ODI debut. He did face 40-odd balls, but he never really got going, which meant the run scoring was not easy and the required run rate kept climbing up for Team India. Gaikwad was gone, Ishan Kishan was gone as well. Then came Shreyas Iyer and Sanju Samson, the two combined forces, and put on a very good partnership, a 67-run partnership for the two of them, which meant that India were slowly taking the momentum in their side, especially the 21st over. That's really where the momentum shifted in India's favour. Tabraiz Shamsi, the most expensive bowler for South Africa, was it for 3 consecutive boundaries by Shreyas Iyer in that over, and it did seem like Shreyas Iyer was getting a move on. But he was gone soon after his 50, and remember, India were only playing 6 batters, which meant at number 7 walked out Shardul Thakur. But he didn't disappoint. Like always, he was on the money right from the word go, giving Samson good company. Samson, though, was taking his time at the other end, taking the game very deep. Shardul Thakur, Sanju Samson combined together to put on the board 93 runs as a partnership. It did seem like they were taking the game deep and they had the guns to gun it down. Then towards the end, Shardul gets out in the very same over. Kuldeep Yadav gets out as well. Lungi and Giri gets those 2 wickets. The game goes into the 39th over, where Sanju Samson, India's only batter out there in the middle, did not face a single ball. Some strange tactics out there. Avesh Khan hits one in the air, the catch is dropped, and yet they run 2, which means Avesh Khan is back on the strike. A lot happening. Last over, Tabraiz Shamsi to bowl. Someone who'd already conceded 69 runs in the game so far off his 7 overs. Sanju Samson needs to hit 5 sixes. He starts with a beautiful 6, then hits a 4, then hits a 4. But it was always about that one ball that may not go to the boundary. And that happened off the 4th ball of the 40th over. Sanju Samson, despite his valiant efforts, could not take India over the line. South Africa winning the game by, well, the barest of margins. That of just 9 runs. Sanju Samson perhaps would be ruining the opportunity to have played 1 or 2 balls in that 39th over, but bygones are bygones. South Africa still stay in contention to qualify automatically for the 2023 ODI World Cup. If they win these 3 games, they still stay in contention. They lose even one of these, they will have to play the qualifiers for that World Cup, which means this series becomes very important for them. And in Lucknow, they take a 1-0 lead.